What's going on, everyone? You're listening to the Asian MMA podcast, where we talk about anything and everything going on in the world of Asian MMA. This episode is brought to you by amateurs who don't get paid anything to fight, because why not? And my special guest for today is Plai. He is the president of TMMAF, the Thailand Mixed Martial Arts Federation, and recently hosted the IMMAF Asian Open here. So, Plai, thank you for coming on the show.
It's great to be here, Dana.
So tell me about the Asian Open, because it's quite an interesting story, right? It was supposed to be in China, and about a month and a half ago, China was like, we can't do it. And you sort of stepped up to the plate.
Yes. Well, we were one of the very few Asian countries, within the IMMAF and WAMA family that were able to, get things together quickly and try to host it, to save the day, so to say.
Yeah.
So it was very challenging, and
it's not like it's a one-day event. It's a
No.
4-day tournament.
4 days tournament, and usually, because my company, we have done sports event.
Yeah, you
before,
promote Ignite.
and even other non-fighting sports that our company have done in the past. We have done events where we have delegates from many countries coming to do competition in Bangkok, and it takes months of preparation, usually 6 months or more.
Not 6 weeks.
Not 6 weeks, not not even 8 weeks.
Yeah.
But because of the limitation that we had and the challenge that we faced, we had to find creative ways
That's
to
one
make
way to
things
put
happen.
it. That's one way to put it. Well, let's talk about the administrative side of all that too,
Yes.
because MMA is still not technically a recognized sport in Thailand, correct?
No, it's still technically not a recognized sport under the Sports Authority
Yeah.
of Thailand. And in fact, I just met with the new governor of
Yeah.
the Sports Authority of Thailand yesterday, just to reintroduce the organization about what TMMAF is, what IMMAF is, and what MMA is. And because usually with the sport in Thailand, for it to be registered with the Sports Authority, usually the global organization
Yeah.
should, in a sense, be accepted in the GASEF and go through that whole Olympic process
Which IMMAF is.
which IMMAF is in the process of doing that. But, they have, the IMMAF hasn't been recognized by GASEF yet because they
But a lot of that had to do with that there's a time frame that IMMAF has to exist and have
Yes.
transparent financing, years.
Yes, it's not an easy thing to
It
do,
doesn't-
and kudos to them for going this far
Yeah.
in 6 years.
It's I've talked to Kareth before, and actually last time Kareth was here before the championship, I and him saw each
Yes.
other. And he's been to Thailand a bunch of times, Malaysia. I've run into Kareth in China, Singapore, Malaysia, and Thailand randomly. Just he's been there promoting the sport. In
Yes.
the work you guys have done here, from what MMA was just 3-4 years ago in Thailand to
Yeah.
what it is today, you guys have broken a lot of ground.
That's for sure. We made a lot of progress. Before that, if you go into Sports Authority, or they'll probably kick you out,
Yeah.
or not
Mi-
refuse to
mixed
talk
what?
to you.
No, we love Muay Thai here. Go away.
But nowadays, the governor we saw yesterday, we had a lot, quite a bit of discussion. He gave us pretty good advice on how to do things, how to ensure that we can eventually be accepted and registered as a sport under the Sports Authority. But those efforts, it's not just our federation that can do by ourselves, but also with IMMAF and WAMA have to do the politics and the bureaucracy and the process as well.
How long do you think it will be before MMA is an actual recognized sport in Thailand?
I hope within if look at how IMMAF is going through the process with the Olympic at the moment, maybe within 4 or 5 years.
So you think it becomes an Olympic sport, Thailand will recognize it?
I think if IMMAF and WAMA MMA gains observation status within the Olympic committee, it makes the jobs a lot easier. Or at least if in some ways MMA can be introduced into more regional competition, Asian martial arts games, or maybe one of the Asian
SEA
games or
Games,
SEA Games as demonstration sport. it will help tremendously.
I know Kareth has his own personal goal of trying to get MMA as an observation sport for the next LA Olympics.
Yes,
because
he the main goal.
He won his Olympic medal at the LA Games back in the 80s. Yeah,
yeah, for sure.
So that I know that would be sweet for him.
Oh, and Los Angeles, you could potentially say is kind of like the home of, or one of the homes of MMA.
Yeah.
As well, MMA is very strong in United
California,
States and California. And for an Olympic sport, one of the consideration point is obviously if it can gain a lot of viewership, especially with the new generation, and sport like mixed martial arts is very good for that.
Especially you look at all the work that the California State Athletic Commission has done for mixed martial arts and regulations. And, I talk a lot on the show about, the lack of commissions in Asia.
Yes.
And you get things like weird stoppages or crazy decisions and there's no transparency on it. And in the US, as much as I hate the commissions sometimes, they do play a role, right? I mean,
it's kind of, I guess, kind of necessary evil.
It is a necessary evil, and it's unfortunate that like even in Japan they don't have a commission for MMA.
I think in Asia in general, it's pretty much we create our organizations, our rule sets, and independently try to self-govern to the best of our abilities.
And I mean, it has its pluses and its minuses, right?
For sure.
Obviously, because they dominate the sport, we talk about one a lot on the show. And, one did some great things when they changed weight cutting procedures. Right now, everyone shifted up a weight class. They don't cut weight or shouldn't. Right. But then at the same time, you get like all of a sudden suplexes are illegal and someone gets DQ'd after the fact. Right. It happened here in Thailand.
Yeah. Or like in Japan. Before that, soccer kick was legal.
Yeah, I love the soccer kick, man. People are split on this, but I love soccer kicks. And I love knees to the head on the ground, man.
You grew up during the era of Pride FC,
But you know what? Also, like the Japanese rule set doesn't favor ties because no elbows.
No. Exactly.
Right, Pride never allowed elbows because of the cuts, but
the cut can stop the fight very prematurely, and people just go to try to go get a cut, and the TKO win.
Yeah. Now, IMMAF rule set have elbows or no?
No elbows.
No elbows.
And no knees to the head.
No knees to the head. Now with your promotion, Ignite, right? It's a tournament format, but not one night, right? You guys do tournament over multiple shows.
Tournament or as a form of like a quasi-league format. With our last show last year, we split athletes into 4 teams, and they compete in a kind of like a mini league. Yeah,
I liked your content a lot, and I like the production quality of it because there's 2 types of shows. There's like the gritty club show in Asia, right, where you're going to a nightclub and it's dark, and they don't film well. No. Yours is the exact opposite of that.
Utilize studio.
It's in a studio. It's well lit, and it looks like a UFC event from a production standpoint. Like if I looked at Ignite versus UFC, just in the production quality, side by side.
That's a great compliment, man. Thanks.
But I love the that you did all amateur, no pro.
Yeah, because we figured, for the sport to be accepted and for amateur to grow, we need to lift up the image. One of the things that I don't really like much about, the current perception of Thailand and MMA is they think it's kind of like cage boxing, underground cage boxing. In Thai we usually call it Muay Krong, Muay, which is like boxing, Krong, which is cage. We try to change jargon into like mixed martial art, silapa การต่อสู้แบบผสมผสาน that's like really long. So we try to say something like มวยผสมผสาน like mixed Muay, style boxing or martial art to change the perception, and it doesn't help if there is like no show in the country that can lift up that image. So we figured in order for the sport to grow and be accepted, we needed to find some way to introduce it into like a new light and make an investment in the production, make amateur look professional.
And like for me, I love like a gritty like club show for sure, right? I mean,
it has its charm.
It has its charm, right? But at the same time, I think what you did, especially making it amateur, was smart because there's really not enough. And I should say your show, Ignite, was great fights, great content, but it was made for a Thai audience.
Yes.
Which means you need Thai fighters.
Yes.
And there's not enough professional Thai fighters to do even one show with all Thai fighters.
Yeah.
And I mean, and this is a true thing that for the sport to grow from the ground up, it needs to be in the right context for the culture, right? Which means the fighters need to speak the language of the people that are going to watch it.
Yeah.
And I think for the first time, your show is something that did that right. Before that, the only thing I can think of, I'm sure you know the guy, Crew Prom.
Yeah.
Very
that era.
Yeah.
War in the Cage.
Yeah.
And NFC.
Doing it in a parking garage out in Pathum Thani, and with just like random chain link pieces wired together, and they would move. Yeah, but like no one's gonna see that and think that this is a legit sport.
Yeah.
Like guys with no gloves reffing fights, and clearly fighters that shouldn't be fighting against each other.
Yeah.
So I mean, when you did it, and like also your matchmaking was really good for an amateur event.
So we tried our best to make it as close as possible. We tried to do like medicals in the same way as professionals do.
Yeah. I mean, and I'll be honest, I've worked at a lot of events in Thailand, and I think I know you did full medicals, and the only other one I know is John at Full Metal Dojo does full medicals. Everyone else is just like, oh, you clean? Okay. Yeah, you don't have anything, right?
Yeah.
You promise? Okay. No problem. You can fight.
Yeah.
And, refs will, like, even you go to Muay Thai fights, refs don't wear gloves.
No.
Like, no, and then they're reaching in people's mouths, pulling out mouthpieces, and like, I saw a ref inspect at a Muay Thai fight at one of the stadiums.
Yeah.
Inspect a fighter's cup by sticking his finger in the cup from the elbow and seeing how deep it was. And like no glove, just barehanded. Neither the fighter nor the ref were squeamish about it.
Yeah.
I was standing cage. I was like, or ringside. I was like, oh my god, what just happened?
Yeah. And we had to use like a third party referee team, and judge and officials team, to keep everything as close to professional as it should be as possible. Because we wanted to set, like a new standard for like amateur show in the country. So hopefully people can follow, and hopefully people who do not yet understand the sport can see it and think, oh, MMA is actually not that bad. It's not that always dark, underground, unsafe. You could prove that by adopting, a more global standard. We adopt a lot of what IMMAF, what we believe are doing right. What the good things that UFC have done, the good things that One Championship has done, and try to bring the good things of what they're doing in terms of an example, and try to make it work within amateur context.
In your promotion, I don't remember, you had the full IMMAF rule set, so no elbows, no knees to the head.
No elbows, no knees to the head.
Now we talked about context and culture, though. In Thai context, that's a tough rule.
It is.
Right? 'Cause a lot of these guys have probably fought 20 Muay Thai fights.
Some of them have, yeah.
We've both been to Muay Thai shows where we've seen like 3-year-olds elbowing each other in the face, right?
Yeah.
So, I mean, how do you get people in Thailand or in cultures where combat sports are like this are more common? So like Litway in Myanmar or Khmer Muay in Cambodia, where this type of culture is more prevalent. How do you get them to buy into a sport where they're not smashing each other in the face with elbows?
Well, one of the good thing about at least MMA in Thailand is that a lot of people who are interested in it or participate in MMA to an extent are usually from like urban background, pretty well educated.
Yeah.
So, a lot of them have been through that life of a Muay Thai warrior.
Yeah, like a 3-year-old living at the gym.
Yeah, so, a lot of them, like, they have, like, parents, they go to school.
They're educated, they speak.
Yeah, so they're not, they can be apprehensive about going to, a format where it's not elbowing each other in the face.
Yeah.
So when they saw our rule set, they thought, oh, this is like, I could do that.
Yeah.
They could,
or even
participate
and
not get hurt too much.
Yeah. There's a great fighter here in Thailand, amateur fighter, Boss.
Yes.
He's an engineer.
Yeah.
Or I believe he's an engineer. And, but he's a fantastic fighter. yeah, I don't know if he would have been so eager to be a fighter if he was like, oh, I'm gonna get elbowed in the face for no money. Yeah, okay.
Because like when you're on the ground, getting ground and pounded, it's not as damaging as taking a knee to the head or
No,
elbow
for
to the
sure.
face while standing up.
I don't know. An elbow on the ground is pretty damn damaging.
Yeah.
Tito Ortiz used to rip those up all the time.
But like in amateur rules, no
no elbows,
elbows at all and no knees to the face. So
Yep.
it keeps it very safe. Like with like the IMMAF Asian Open, they're able to run like multiple day events. Not just like the Asian Open, but like World Championship where you have like 32 fighters in a bracket. You have to fight like 5 days. With the last Asian Open in Bangkok, it's like only 8 people in division, so 3 fights until you win. It's if you have like a format of sport where you bleed very easily or you get concussion very easily, you can't have that multiple days tournament experience and make it safe for athletes. But I think IMMAF and WAMA have done really well in pioneering.
And you're always going to have obviously some head trauma, and there's always the chance to bleed.
There's always that,
always. I mean,
it's a contact sport.
Yeah, I mean, at the same time though, I mean that last fight of the fourth day when me and you were talking, the 2 super heavyweights.
Yes.
Like I'll tell the audience this story. Me and Plai are sitting there talking to each other right by the cage, and the super heavyweights are fighting. And like a second left, not even.
Yeah.
And this huge dude, I think he was from Bahrain,
probably
lands a shot, just like an overhand right that crumples his opponent. And you heard him hit the ground, and everyone went quiet. Me and Plai were standing next to each other and kind of talking, and we were both watching it. And we both just like, oh.
And like right after the bell rung as well.
It was like before, after, I don't know. It was like
very
like I couldn't tell. Like I couldn't eyeball, but it was close. And then the ref called it off.
Yeah.
But man, that's a shot.
Yes.
But I mean, you do have to be careful about that head trauma with these multiple day formats.
There is always.
You're always going to have some, but I think when you're taking steps to minimize it, knees to the head are obviously very blunt force trauma, elbows, and of course these guys. The whole point of having an amateur sport is ideally so these guys can go on to very long, successful professional careers. Yes. And you can't do that if you're always stuck in wars.
Yes.
Getting cut open, getting smashed in the head with knees.
And like I noticed, because fighters who favor more of the grappling, grind against the cage and ground and pound tend to do better than the stand up striking and just exchange of trauma and impact, because the nature of mixed martial arts fight, you can take the fight to the clinch, you can take the fight to the ground to avoid the head trauma. And
we saw Randy Couture and Dan Henderson compete well into their 40s.
Yeah.
You
don't get that in kickboxing,
Muay Thai.
And
old Muay Thai fighters like what, 27?
Yeah.
And 400 fights under his belt. Some of those guys. I saw a guy the other day had a record of like 280, 170, and 20. I'm like, what? How is that possible? And he was like 22. Yeah. But at the same time, those guys, you can tell they've all been battle worn.
Yes.
Right? When you have that many fights. And, I think that the amateur, it gives guys a great path to development. When I fought in my 20s, back in the early 2000s, there was no amateur MMA on the East Coast where I lived. My first fight was a professional fight against a guy I had seen fight at least 4 times prior to that. And like you go look at records on Sherdog from back then, a lot of fights are missing.
Yeah.
Right? And so, it was kind of the Wild West time, at least in the US. And I wish I had the opportunity to have amateur experience and come into as a professional with a little bit of fight experience. And
sure. Like Thailand, just right before like IMMAF and TMMAF came in, it was very hard to find like amateur show for local fighters. So, a lot of our fighters and athletes, they turn pro very quickly. And in my opinion, some of them turn too soon.
Yeah.
Before they could really gain experience, in the fight game.
Yeah, no, and and unfortunately, like you look at like some of these guys fought pro like right away too, like
Yeah.
because one, of course, you want to get paid, right? And when you're trying to be a professional fighter, and two, when there was no option, for years, 5-6 years, they had MIMA down in Malaysia. Malaysia Invasion was a huge amateur tournament, and they built up they kind of had the reverse problem of Thailand.
Yeah.
They have a great amateur scene and no pro scene, right? And now Thailand had no amateur scene, but a huge pro scene. But it was mostly foreign fighters or Thais who were not experienced, really kind of taking fights they shouldn't take.
Yeah. Ruin their records.
Yeah, like a guy like Dechinan. I love Dechin's one of my favorite fighters to watch, but I don't think he ever had an amateur fight.
I think so. It was pretty much just straight into.
He's been fighting since I came to Thailand 6 years ago. So, and he was like, I don't know, maybe 18 at the time or something.
Yeah, actually, there were like some amateur fights he fought in like
that no one knows about.
War in the Cage, and like one of the early ones.
I was at I think I was at the first War in a Cage, and I had already seen Dechinan fight at a pro fight.
I see.
So, but again, one of my favorite fighters to watch. But just imagine if he had the experience of like a TMMAF type tournament or at Ignite.
They had like mean more of what we do, like not just like what we do, but replicated by other like people in other parts of the country. Having their own tournaments, creating their own little ecosystem.
Has TMMAF ever looked at something like the MIMA tournament, like doing something like that?
We studied what they do, right, and it's a format that is really good to kind of like try to see and dissect and see what would work for our country, or even like format like PFL in the States. That looks like fantastic from the sport standpoint. We look at all other show and try to study them, whether it be One Championship, UFC, PFL, Risen.
You gonna start doing those Risen freak shows at the amateur level?
Well, sometimes once as a promoter,
I'm a fan of what Risen does.
You put in some of those things to draw in the eyeball and
I would pay to watch Gabby Garcia fight Bob Sapp. Look, I love that aspect of Japanese MMA. You get Gabby Garcia fighting like a 20-kilo grandma. I'll pay for that. No,
it's a spectacle.
Yeah, it is what it is, but. I mean, I would love to see a MIMA type tournament take place in Thailand, just because I think you guys would kill it. I mean, there's just the talent pool for amateurs is so deep here.
Yeah.
Especially because a guy's fought pro Muay Thai doesn't mean he's not an amateur MMA fighter.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, something to think about.
Well, a lot of people who are like Muay Thai champion professional level, if they turn into amateur mixed martial art, they would probably still be like kind of like low to mid level because of the lack of the ground game. If they lack the ground game, they would go in as a newbie.
Now look, I don't want to see Senchai come and fight and Ignite as an amateur, right?
No,
but like
that wouldn't be right.
No, but or like Morkow, I don't want to see that. But if you took a guy who's like a Lumpini champ, right, who's still young and competed at that level and brought him to MMA as an amateur, he's got zero ground.
Yeah.
But these Muay Thai guys have a hell of a clinch, and they can do that stand up grappling.
Yeah. Like when last time I met with John Dinaher when he came to Bangkok, he said like Muay Thai guys, their clinch game, even if they go up against like a really good wrestler in like upper body clinch, they will still can ruin the day for some of these wrestlers because of the strength about clinch fighting.
Yeah. Even I was at 7-Eleven the other day, which for all the listeners not from Thailand, 7-Eleven is like on every corner here. But I was at a 7-Eleven grabbing a snack, and there was a guy who I knew just by looking at him. I knew he was a Muay Thai fighter because he got these huge traps, and his shoulders are all rolled forward, but he's like super lean and cut. And I just like look at him for a minute. I was like,
and you notice the cauliflower here. That's he's a clinch fighter.
Yeah, he likes to clinch and throw dudes or knee dudes straight up the middle.
Yeah.
No, I think that just the opportunity is so huge in Thailand for MMA. Unfortunately, I mean, we have some great schools for grappling now. Q23, BFL. Elite is opened up recently.
Yes.
So we've got some decent schools for grappling, but there's no. One of the things I noticed at the IMMAF event was the Kazakh guys obviously have a grappling base.
Yes.
Even though they hit hard, they bang, but these guys have that conditioning from
Yeah,
grappling.
they're very well round.
Yeah.
Big gas tank, good at grappling, good at striking, footwork, cage control. They're just monsters.
Yeah. And I think if Thai fighters take that kind of natural clinch work they get from Muay Thai and someone figures out how they turn that into a decent ground game at least. They don't have to be a John Danaher, but they can be like a guy who can get up.
Just be proficient enough in the ground game that it gives confidence to your stand-up game and clinch game.
Like a top Noi.
Yeah.
Right? Like he's not going out this. Actually, I've seen him submit dudes. I saw Top submit a Top Yai, the other top from there. I saw him submit Mezamu from Cambodia, and I was like, Mezamu is like a decent submission guy. I've never even seen Top submit a dude, and he just chokes him out. But yeah, like sometimes they get one, but like Top Noi is a perfect example. His style is like, get on the ground, just get back up and knock a guy out.
Like Ramba as well.
Yeah.
Ramba fights very similarly.
Yeah, I mean, so there are guys who can apply it. And then, who's the girl from Tiger who fought in Invicta?
Victor, Loma.
Loma, yeah, she's a beast.
Yes, she is.
She's a beast.
Just troll everyone around.
Yeah, right. She doesn't look like it. Then you see her, and you're just like,
because like she's so confident in her ground game, that she can execute a lot of her good stand-up game.
Yeah, her stand-up's nasty.
Yes.
Nasty. I remember they put up a video of her training before her Invicta debut.
Yeah.
I was just like, she was hitting pads. I was just like, ooh, damn. Know who I'd love to see fight MMA from Thailand is Stamp.
Stamp, yes.
Right.
She fought in MMA in one of our show.
Yeah. Really?
Before she went to the One Warrior series.
Okay.
And did like one fight.
How was her ground?
The ground was actually good.
Really?
I saw one of her like previous fight before she came to our show. She fought the girl from Tiger Muay Thai. She's a very good wrestler.
Yeah.
And they went to war, and she Stamp handled herself really well.
Yeah. Stamp. I mean, I remember when they had the tryouts for OWS.
Yeah.
And Rich Franklin was up here, and it was over at Bangkok Fight Lab. And I was there filming some stuff, and she was warming up with Y2K.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden, like, everyone just stops because you hear, like, pooch, 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 and she's just hitting pads. And, like, there were guys warming up who you just thought they were like, whoa, what the? I'm not going to spar with her, am I? Like, she's a beast. And like, there's no wonder why she's a double champ there, champ, right, for K1 rules and Muay Thai rules.
Yeah.
Now I would love to see her fight MMA because
if she can win 3 belts, that would be history.
And plus like her clinch game is solid.
Yeah.
And she got a hell of a personality, man.
Yeah.
Like, when she comes, she's dancing in the ring and
like
stuff.
Full package.
Yeah. No, like she's to me, like she's the like Thai superstar. I don't think she speaks a lick of English. Like that's the thing. Right, and I think that's why like Rika speaks pretty okay English.
Yeah.
And Rika's arguably cuter, so I think that explains her popularity. She's not the same weight as Stamp, is she?
I don't think so. No.
Rika's gonna be smaller, right?
Rika usually fights below her weight. It's her division, but she has like at least before that she was like struggling, like trying to
get that heavy,
enough mass to fight against like other bigger girls.
Did she fight in she had one fight before she turned pro. Was it in
it was in
was it that Bangkok underground fighting thing?
No, actually I was the ref of that fight.
You were the ref of her fight?
Yeah, it was a beer camp fight club.
Bear camp fight club?
Yeah, it was like a craft beer event, and we did like a kind of like a MMA show, with a few fights. Me, Nitty, Shannon, Park, and also Tommy Hayden. We were like officials and referee, and I got her fight. The clip of her fight came from like a
Helmet
GoPro,
cam?
yeah, from helmet cam.
Who'd she fight for that first fight? Just like some random.
A Thai girl.
Yeah.
A Thai girl.
I love watching Tommy ref because he's so laid back. Like he obviously doesn't ref a lot, and like he doesn't do it enough to be like proficient at it. But he's like so confident and so like laid back when he does it. He's just like, all right, you ready? You ready? He's like, whoa, 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 hey, hey.
Yeah.
I tell you when you're ready. Don't come over to me. I see he refed the MMA at one of Lion's Head's events that I was at, and it's just funny to watch him rep because you get a UFC vet and he's like, yo, man, I'll tell you when you're ready. You get back in your corner. It's so cool. You use the ring when you do Ignite, right?
We use a cage.
Okay.
But when we one of our shows is kind of like a more beginner friendly level called Neophyte. We use a mat.
Oh,
no
maybe
cage.
that's what I saw. So it's just on a mat, no.
Yep, just on a mat, to make it look, more family friendly. And we introduced a youth rule set that we were testing out where we limit the headshots with the punches.
So these are the younger kids.
Yeah, for the younger kid, and also for people who want to adopt a beginner rule set because they're not confident enough to start punching each other in the face. We also allow adults to participate in that as well.
I know you were talking about IMMAF is looking at that rule set as well for younger kids.
There are this year they will have like a cadet world championship in Rome. Designed for like under 18
in the Coliseum.
I think it's probably that would be great, man. To have like an IMMAF world championship in the Coliseum. Yeah, but they're introducing rule set where no striking to the head. Limited on the groundwork and no ground and pound.
Yeah.
So it's very family friendly. I think they tested out in Italy. Vito, who runs the Italian Federation, has experimented and done a lot of like youth program and youth championships. So Italy is like one of the country that's most ready to take on the youth.
Really, Italy?
Yeah, they have a very strong like amateur, especially extend to the youth.
I wouldn't have pictured Italy as a leader in MMA at the amateur level.
Well, they do very good system and program even before IMMAF came in.
So
Vito, he runs a very good youth program in Italy.
Yeah, gotta give credit where credit's due. So they're based out of Rome.
Yep, I'm not sure if they're based in Rome, but I would believe so because that would make sense. To organize in a city where the most experienced staff and
you have the
people can
infrastructure.
Help out. Yeah, the infrastructure is there.
How about in Thailand, outside of Bangkok, any hotbeds of amateur talent?
Hotbed of amateur talent.
Yeah.
Other than Bangkok, I would say Chiang Mai and Korat, Khon Kaen area would be like kind of like the next booming area. Just like recently, I went to K Warriors.
Okay.
Organized by not Plam but Prab.
Oh, okay.
Ajahn Prab. He came. Some of his athletes have competed in our events. And he organized like modeling the rule set based on what we did at Ignite and One Chin Cup, and did it in Korat. Not just like for Korat and the northeastern athletes, but some some athletes from Bangkok or from Phuket also flew there. Even like one team from Hong Kong flew there and they
flew to Korat. Isn't it only like 2 hours from here by car?
Probably about 3. More like
I think Mark Abbott and I drove up there once for one of Crew Palm's events. Which was crazy because all of a sudden we ended up presenting things in the cage. Like, there's two white dudes here. Let them present in the cage.
Yeah, but with K Warrior, they did it like in a night market environment, like open air night market.
That's kind of cool.
Yeah, I'm happy to see people and promoters are experimenting with like new locations, like format, but still trying to emulate the level of safety or the rule set that we did. It's a good start. When especially like it's so challenging to try to find like enough sponsors to run consistent shows in Thailand. When for them to do that, I can see a big potential in that particular region for the growth of the amateur to grow.
Singha was a sponsor for, I think, was it War in the Cage or Cage War for a while. Now, you didn't have a bear sponsor for Ignite, did you?
We had Leo.
Oh, did you have Leo?
Leo.
Oh, I didn't realize. I thought you didn't have an alcohol sponsor.
Leo as a brand.
Yeah. You know? Well, Singha is like they're trying to be a lifestyle brand now, right? Yes. They have like a clothing line. And
they have clothing lines.
I think I was at one of the malls out in Bangkok, and there was like a Singha store, and I was like, "What's this?"
Yeah, they do like a brand collaboration with Workout.
Yeah. Oh, really?
In one of their collection, clothing and also some fight gear.
Really?
As well. Yeah.
Some Workout gloves.
Yeah, some Workout gloves, some Workout shin pads as well, I think, and some shorts.
So you guys wear shin pads in Ignite?
We wear shin pads, we wear rash guard and fight shorts and 7-ounce gloves to try to like very much model it after what IMMAF does.
I like the 7-ounce gloves. I understand the rash guards as an amateur, same way that boxers wear the tank top.
Yeah.
I don't like the shin pads though.
No, you don't?
Because it's a grappling sport, right? Like, so it's something that get in the way as you're trying to pass guard or get out of half guard.
Potentially, but if you use, like not one of those like strap shin pad, but more kind of like one of those like a neoprene sleeve.
Yeah.
It's almost just like your leg.
Okay.
Just like a little bit more padded.
Okay.
So you can kick and not hurt or break your shin.
They still, no matter how big your shin pad is, it's still gonna hurt.
It's gonna hurt, but it's gonna reduce the chance of it, cracking and bleeding.
Yeah, true. Like one thing you do see in Muay Thai a lot is cuts on the shin.
Yeah.
Right. No one wants that.
I think it deters a lot of like amateurs or would-be amateurs.
And no one wants to get Anderson Silvered.
No,
right? You don't want that floppy foot.
Like in all my like competition in amateur, I never tried to do a leg kick because of the reason I was just like so afraid someone blocked.
Yeah, they hurt. They hurt. It hurts. Shin on shin does not feel good.
Yeah.
Actually, even like someone just kicks you in the thigh with the like that hurts.
Yeah.
Take them down quick. Get it over with.
Yes, for sure.
No, but yeah, I mean, I understand why they have the shin pads. I said, to me, it's like the one thing I'm like, yeah, could get rid of it. I like the bigger gloves though. I think one, not just for the padding, but also gives the fighter a little bit better defense.
Yes.
When they're blocking, I like that about it.
Like especially with the IMMAF Green Hill gloves, they pad up the thumb, so when they do like an overhand, it doesn't less risk of breaking it, and also it forces your hand to curl down. Yeah. So you can't do that kind of like John Jones thing where you stick.
I don't think
accidentally.
It doesn't look. I've never tried the IMMAF gloves on, but I've seen them, and it doesn't look like you could even straighten your hand.
You can't.
So it's completely stitched.
It will force it to curl slightly, so it reduces that chance of people doing that, and they also like prohibit you from doing that.
Yeah.
Even with those gloves.
Yeah, I mean, also less chance of finger injury.
Yes.
Right, because I've seen a lot of times, not just in MMA, but grappling terms, where guys get their fingers dislocated or ripped out, and that's not pretty.
They did a lot of like research on it when they designed it, and so far they are the only gloves that I have tried, and I feel are most conducive for amateur MMA.
Yeah. No, I do like the rash guards, especially because you guys do the red and blue.
Yeah.
And
Olympic style.
Yeah, and you go to a 4-day tournament. You obviously don't know everyone at the tournament, but you start watching fights, and it's very easy to be like, okay, red and blue, and follow the action. Because they're all red and all blue.
And you have like a writing on the back from which country you're from, and with rash guard, it helps, in terms of like, say if there's like bleeding going on, it helps cover the blood. And also when you grind against a cage, sometimes in some country you may not always get the best cage.
Yeah.
that helps.
Hopefully there's vinyl on the cage.
Yeah.
You guys had a nice setup, and even like I remember with Mima, they always had like a quality cage.
Yeah.
But I also think again, very TV friendly with the rash guard and like the way it looks.
It gives a more fashionable look for athletes when they compete. You don't have to have wear like a spandex short, almost naked, go into a cage. Sometimes a lot of Thai people can't understand or can't get that. It looks a little bit too primitive. For some people's taste.
It's definitely interesting.
Yeah.
Are you gonna be doing any more Ignites?
Yes, we are planning to do Ignite
this
year.
When's the next one?
We are looking to start it again around probably the third quarter or the fourth quarter of this year.
Okay, so are you gonna do a whole like season again, like a whole
kind of like a
league?
season format. Now we are discussing with channel about formats and how we can improve on the last year show.
Okay, so you're looking at how you can kind of iterate, make it better.
Yeah, make it better. We want to strive to improve it. You know, we want to be able to include possibly more athletes in there as well.
One of the things I liked about Ignite was you did a really good job with like sort of sponsors and product placement. Like
we tried.
Like what you guys had one of the bracelet, the fitness bracelets, and you had someone on stage, and it was very Thai, right? But it was perfectly done.
Well, we had like a Sean Buranahiran, you know, who's like a influencer and celebrity, and also Tong Buddha-Bless, who is like an hip hop artist, and also one of the member of TMMAF, you know, one of the benefactor of the martial arts community. They went head to head in a form of like MMA fitness style battle, wearing wearable devices, see who burns more.
It was a good idea. I mean,
well, you know, you can't always have people just punching each other. You know, sometimes you need to present the sport in a more kind of like a fitness and lifestyle context. You know, because not all the people enjoy just seeing people hammering each other in the face in the cage.
They're watching the wrong sport, then, Plai. They're watching the wrong sport. So you think Q4 you're gonna launch? How long do you think that league is gonna be?
Probably 3 months.
3 months.
You know, it's like a TV format. Okay. You know, to 12 to 13 episodes. We're in the process of finalizing it at the moment.
I'll be looking forward to that. Thanks. It'll be exciting. All right, Plai. I want to thank you for taking the time. Come on here to talk to me. How can people find out more about TMMAF or follow the IMMAF championship kind of schedule?
Okay, well, we have like I have like a website called ignitefightclub.com that is kind of like our martial arts, active lifestyle, and also, you know, the combat sports website. Also run a page as well, Facebook page, Ignite Fight Club as well. And also we have TMMAF or Thai Mixed Martial Arts Federation page that you can follow as well.
And how about the IMMAF championship schedule so they can follow the Asian athletes?
The IMMAF.org.
Okay. Awesome. Well, Plai, thank you again, guys. Check all that out. I'll have the links in the show notes so you can find all of that. And also Ignite will be on Facebook again.
Yes.
So you'll be able to actually, when Plai does launch the next season of Ignite, you'll be able to follow that on Facebook and watch those fights. And he had some great fights. Actually, one of the guys who I liked from Ignite was Earth, who now is a pro wrestler.
Pro wrestler.
All right, guys. Thank you very much, Plai. Thank you. And
thank you very much,
check it out.